The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my site, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you are encouraged to post your comments whether or not you agree with me. And boy, oh boy, have I been approving a lot of comments disagreeing with me lately. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to 12 million additional households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. To my right, your left, the lovely Tracy Quan, making a return engagement to Pal Talk. I guess I didn't scare you off too much after your first visit here.
Well, I was going to act as if it's my first time, but you...
I just blew that, huh?
Yeah, you blew that.
But this is the first time in a real studio, if you want to
have
call
a new studio,
Yes,
yeah.
a new
I
studio.
was in the old studio.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it.
It is very cool, isn't it?
It's very nice here, very cozy.
Before we did it, actually, the show, we would set it up in a conference room before we built out the studio. Anyways, the reason Tracy is here, I know many of you know who she is, and by the way, her website is tracyquan.net. She is a former working girl prostitute who turned author and journalist, and her latest book is called Diary of a Jet-Setting Call Girl, where her heroine, Nancy, makes some really stupid choices.
You think she's stupid?
I didn't say she was stupid. I said her choices are stupid.
You think her choices are stupid?
Because she puts herself
Why?
into very precarious position. Maybe she likes the excitement of
well,
almost getting caught all the time.
So I feel like we have a double standard. A lot of people ask me, why would Nancy sneak around on her husband? Bear in mind, this is before last week. He's working on Wall Street. He's making a good living. I mean, you know, the idea being that 40 years of feminism haven't happened, and, you know, a woman should just be happy that, you know, she's snagged a good one.
Right.
And, you know, and why would she sneak around? But, you know, I feel like if a guy needs to go out and get some adventure, people don't, I mean, people might say, well, he's a jerk, but they won't say that he's making, they won't be as puzzled by it. They'll say, well, he's just being a guy, right? They assume that guys have this addiction to sin. They need to be naughty. But, you know, women also need to be naughty.
I don't have any problem with that. I'm just saying their stupid choices are she's juggling so many things. She keeps running into brothers-in-law and don't say too much.
Don't give away the plot.
No, but she runs into people that she doesn't want to run into when she's working behind her husband's back.
Well, I don't think these are stupid choices, but I think, though, you're right. She does get off on the risk. And now that's another thing, is that if somebody gets off on taking risks in the financial world, that's considered to be a high-flying profession.
Right.
Right. But maybe there's an aspect of that for call girls.
Well, let's talk about the people who are taking risks in the financial world. Two stories caused for me to call you and say, now's the time to come in and talk about your book. One of them said that sex addiction is up because people are so frustrated by what's going on Wall Street, that they're becoming addicted to sex, which I think it's better than, as I said in my blog, jumping out of a window or getting addicted to heroin or methamphetamines or something like that. Although I guess, you know, for David Duchovny it wasn't such a good thing. And now they say that while some discretionary spending is down in certain areas, certainly not in your former profession. The story that just broke over the weekend suggested that prostitutes are doing a bang-up business.
Oh, very funny. Well, I have this piece here. It says prostitution has not suffered. But, you know, you have to make a distinction between the people who work in an industry and the industry itself. Right? So, I mean, it may be that people are still buying sex. But the one argument is that while prostitution may not have suffered, prostitutes are suffering because girls are having to lower their prices. If you really read further into this Daily News article, what you see is that a lot of ladies are leaving the higher-priced escort services and going to like low-rent brothels. I shouldn't say low rent, but you know what I mean. Going to lower.
Oh, that's good news. You can afford this now for the first time in your life. See, it's like
I
gasoline
never
prices
paid
are going down,
and I will never pay.
Well, that's how I feel. No, I mean, good for you. But but seriously, I mean, the girls who are, you know, to look at prostitution just as this phenomenon and to forget that there are people actually working in it is that's not accurate. You know, that doesn't give a full picture. If you're seeing too many people and that sort of thing, you might start making the wrong. You were talking about people making bad choices. On the other hand, another way to look at it is that some people are sensible enough to adapt, and it's kind of like instead of seeing someone for 3 hours, they'll see a lot of people for a half hour.
I know a young lady who is a single mom who
a half hour each time.
Who can't get work.
Yeah.
Right? She's out of a job. The economy is down. She's having a difficulty making ends meet, and she confides to me that she's thinking about hooking.
Well, I never recommend this to people because to me it's a very competitive industry.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that if you're doing it just out of desperation, sometimes you don't make the right choices.
Right.
Yeah, and well, I mean, there is a sense. People sometimes have this sense that anyone can do this because it's sex and everybody has sex. You know, similar to the idea that anyone can write because everyone has at some point scribbled their name. But you know, it's really a tough profession, and even in the glamorous ends of it, it can be very tough, and it can take a big toll on you. So